Hi knitters, welcome to PJ Knits. This is episode 60 and it is a beautiful day in Central Illinois. We have the windows open, the air conditioning off. It is Tuesday the 16th of June and it's 81 degrees and it's sunny. And so I'm coming to you this week a little bit sooner than normal because I wanted to talk to you about summer. This Sunday is Father's Day and is also the start officially to summer. And for PJ Knits, that means we'll continue to work on our summer sweaters, but we're also going to do the Shawls of Summer, K-A-L. I always have to remember how I want, what the spiel is. If it was Summer of Shawls or Shawls of Summer, it is actually the Summer of Shawls. And we're going to be knitting on some shawls this summer once again. And the thing that I love, and I've said this before, is knitting on shawls. These are easily knit when it's hot outside. If you sit and knit on the porch like I do, they're great to wear in the summertime when we're finally getting back into some air-conditioned places. And if not, if you pick a big one to knit on, you have something ready to go for fall and winter to cover up with too. So I love working on shawls. And the other thing is, they don't have to fit necessarily, right? So that's my whole thought of Summer of Shawls. And on Instagram, we'll have a hashtag this year of hashtag Summer of Shawls 2021. We'll officially start this Sunday, but if you want to start any time between then, feel free. We will go through the end of summer, which is 9/21. There is a thread on Ravelry for the Summer of Shawls 2021, and we'd love to see what you're thinking about knitting, patterns you'd like to knit, yarns, or if you need some inspiration, there's also a bundle that's on the PJ Knits Ravelry group. So we would love to have you join us in our venture on knits of shawls. And this summer, it's whatever, knitter's choice. You choose your shawl pattern. It doesn't have to be one that I'm knitting or that a group's knitting, but if you are knitting with a group, and I have a couple that I'd like to do for some other podcasts that people are working on, but we'll just see how that goes, because my main focus this summer in my grand plan was to do shawls that I've already started, some whips. And I've got a couple of those, and I'll share those as we go along this summer between that and my sweater knitting. So I want to use patterns out of my library too, or yarn out of my stash. I'm trying really hard to do that. Although I fell down a rabbit hole this morning on a sweater, but we'll talk about that in another episode. So, any surprise, guys? I have several files going. The Summer of Shawls, Shawls to knit. And so I have a whole lot of, as you can tell, a whole lot of patterns in these that I am going to share with you this summer. And not necessarily the ones that I'm going to be knitting on, but ones that I would like to knit on. Some I have yarn, a plan, for the future. So anyway, I will be sharing some of those as we go along. I have some shawl books I will share with you. Maybe we'll have a little discussion here and on the Ravelry group on how to wear your shawls. I know the triangular one is very difficult for people, and generally I just throw it on. And today I've just kind of knotted this one on because it's going to get a little warm in a little bit to be wearing it. But so we'll kind of sort of talk about those kind of things and shawl types. And I really hope that you all will either contribute down below in a comment or on the Ravelry group or Instagram as we go through the summer talking about shawls. Give us your ideas because we can always be inspired. The two that I am working on right now are both whips. And the first one, I've talked about this before. This is the half and half triangle wrap, and I am doing this in conjunction with Caddy Jacks. They're getting these ready for Rhinebeck, which I'm not attending, but I have one of those on the needles, and I bought the linen quill. I'll just flash this for a little quickie. I'm on my second skein right now, and this is the eggshell. And the other one's going to be a green turquoise. And so that is one of the things that I am knitting on right now. And then my second whip right now is something from my most favorite book for shawls of all time. And I've shared this before. This is Cheryl Oberle's Folk Shawls. I have knit several out of here and some for gifts. One or two I've done for hospice. And if you can tell, I've got some here I'm going to just show you today. I met Cheryl some time ago at knitting camp. She's not designing as much, and she was dyeing yarn back then too, and I miss that. But she's a super sweet lady and very giving. And so this is my favorite book, not just because I know her, but because there's a lot of cool patterns in this one. And the one that I am working on right now out of the book is called the Spanish Christening Shawl. And here's a picture, an older picture of it. And my intention for the Spanish Christening Shawl that I'm working on right now, we're going to have a new grandbaby who we're not sure when he's going to be born. Sometime in July, whether it started out to be early and it started out to be later. And now I think it's going to be earlier. And so my plan is to have this done in time for the christening that'll probably come late in the summer. And this is the Spanish Christening Shawl, and there's Cheryl modeling it. And I had this wild notion that this is the first christening shawl, not my first grandchild, but the first christening shawl that I'm knitting. And my thought is, when I get done with this one, I'd like to go back and knit a christening shawl as an heirloom for each of the three that have already been born, so that when they have children, they can use that as a christening shawl. That's in my plan, and that's so far off. It's plenty of time to do that. But here is where I'm at so far. And this is a pretty easy center square to knit on. It's 12 rows, and I think 9 or 10 stitch repeat, and easy enough that I can do this while I'm watching ball games on it. And I'm just loving this one. It's a nice rhythm and easy to not get fouled up too much with. And the yarn that I am knitting is a yarn that I love, and unfortunately I think it's been discontinued. And it was a washable yarn from Dale Yarn, and it's Dale Baby Ull, and I bought probably a bag and a half of this, so I have plenty for this one, but not for any more. And it's squishy, it's washable, it's made in Norway, it's 100% merino wool, hence the squishiness, in a kind of a creamy color, and I really like it. I wish I could get much more of this for all of the baby blankets, because I just really love working with that. But so this is these are the two shawls that are my main ones that I'm going to be knitting on the start of Summer of Shawls. And as you can tell, I've already started knitting on this particular one. But that is the two that I am planning on doing. Couple of other ones that I just wanted to share out of the book is this simple garter stitch prairie shawl. I knit this for hospice one time, and also as a gift. And I think this totally would be a really nice beginner shawl if you have somebody who's a beginner knitter that would like to. And back in the day, I actually used homespun with that one. I remember I was on a trip to Mexico, and that was my knitting for the entire trip. So that is the simple garter stitch prairie shawl, and I think a very doable one, a nice one for hospice if you have somebody, or if you have a little gift that you want to do for somebody. I have knit that particular one. Currently, I have the kimono shawl also in progress, and it's a super long one. And I'm doing this out of Riley, that I've been working on for quite some time, and I've talked about it before as well. And another easy one to do during games, but after the christening shawl, maybe I will get back to this particular whip. but I do like it. And originally I intended on giving this to hospice, but I think at this point in time, I'm going to keep it. That's my kind of sort of plan. And I've got it in this super cool bag that my friend Debbie made for me out of that very washable fabric. So that's going back into there. And again, that's out of Riley, which I super, super love. That particular one. Other ones out of this, I have done wool peddlers. This is one that's in the car, and I've done this one. I actually knit this one, and I've talked about it before as well, out of Pacific, and I gave that to hospice. It was one of my very first shawls that I did. And I talked about this before because in the beginning, everybody was doing pretty simple shawls. And I thought, I want to do something nice and pretty. And after I did this one, a lot more designs were incorporated into some of the shawls. So that is wool peddlers, and easily I've done that in a Coney-based yarn. I've done it, like I said, in Pacific. I'm doing it in a sea pearl that sits out in my car, which is a Briar Rose yarn, a fingering weight. There's been, the Coney one had a ruffle on. There was some variations, and you can see those in Ravelry. So I've done that a couple of times. Another easy one for your beginner knitter, I think. And then one that this particular one is called the Bird's Nest Shawl, and it's one of the first ones that I knit out of the book, and I knit it out of Just Beautiful yarn, which was the yarn that Cheryl was dyeing back at the time, which I love. It's an alpaca, and this is a super nice one too. I love it. It was a nice, easier, and this one's a wrap, so it's nice and long, and it goes a lot of lengthwise, and so there was a lot of rows across of it. This one stays in my bag in the car, so I always have something to wrap up in, or wrap over my feet, or wrap around my neck, and I've used it down on the riverfront. So this is a nice, easy one too, and I easily could have cut this down in length a little bit, and maybe made a little bit more width, but this is the Bird's Nest one, which I truly, truly love. I love this particular shawl. So that's an idea from out of the book. What else? There's one other. This is the Feather and Fan one, and I've shown this before and talked about it on several different ways. Again, another really nice pattern for a beginner. Easily throws in some lace, and I wouldn't mind doing another one of these. And I've told this story before in earlier episodes. The yarn that I knit this out of, Linda Padoco, one of my friends from knitting camp one year, spun this yarn, and I told her how cool it was online, and how it was my perfect colors and yada yada yada. And when we got to camp that year, she gifted me the yarn. So the following year, I knit the Feather and Fan out of this lovely homespun, it's not homespun, spun by hand yarn from my friend Linda, and I just, it is a total favorite. So to get the full effect, it starts a little charcoaly and goes, there was like 3 skeins of it, and ends up with this favorite turquoise of mine. So isn't this super, super cool? This is a favorite, and this is a nice one because it has nice long wingspan, so easily could be wrapped around several times. And I've even done it where you wrap it around and then tie it behind your waist, which is what they were doing back in the day. So just a super, super fun shawl. Like I said, has nice, great length and great color, and it's me. So it's I have very fond memories of it, and it's squishy and soft. And also, I believe that the one that I'm wearing is also the Feather and Fan as well, or it could be, actually. It is the Wool Peddler. Yes, this one is the Wool Peddler. And this was a yarn that I picked up in Memphis when my children were down there, so it's been at least 10 years ago. And I love wearing these just triangular shawls. I used to wear them a lot at work. because the winter wardrobe for me was a turtleneck and black or navy pants, and then I'd throw my triangular shawls over on it. So I love this one. You can, again, this is the version of the Wool Peddlers, but it does not have, I just ended it. I didn't put any lace at the bottom. I just wanted to be able to wrap it around. And this is a super squishy yarn too as well. So as you can see, you know, easy enough on the triangular shawls like this, just to throw them over your shoulders, or wrap it like I did, or wrap it as a bib type in the front. If you wanted it up and around your neck, and you can see it's just simple increases. Just, I really like this version of that, and I've made several just plain old ones out of some good, and you can do like any weights of yarn. Do your fingering weight yarn for, you have that one skein that you bought, which we all have those, and you can easily just do that. Do a simple Wool Peddlers, throw a ruffle on it if you want, or some sort of lace at the end. I mean, the world is open when it comes to this particular one, so you can see why it is a favorite of mine, and one that I have. I've knit quite often, and have a few in my wardrobe, and have given some for different things. So there's so many others that I want to knit out of the folk shawl book that are on my radar. So I highly recommend this book if you can get a copy of this out and about. A great book. There are so many more that we will maybe delve into. There's this is the square one. There is a Ruana in here. And they're all laid out by the countries. Iceland, American. So there is another feather and fan shawl, just a wrap. So anyway, there are so many out there that have possibilities. And so I highly recommend this book. This is a favorite for all times of mine. So what else is going on this summer? Again, we're going to continue knitting for a month or two on summer sweaters. I have a couple styles that I'll show you next time. I have ordered yarn for a sweater this morning from the Knitting Place in the Lena yarn that I used last year. So that's going to go on. It's #TopThis2021 KAL. Please use that Instagram hashtag if you have a finished project, and let us know in the Ravelry group about them as well. We're going to continue the rest of the year doing #knitting for babes, because everybody seems like has a baby in their life that they could be knitting for, or will be knitting for shortly. So that's going to continue. I just have one acquisition that I want to share with you. No mail call yet, but next time I will. My local yarn shop, the Fiber Universe in Peoria, is allowing us back in to knit when it's super hot. This Tuesday, however, we sat down on the riverfront, had a great breeze underneath the trees on the parking lot, and it was lovely. It just was so beautiful and so calming, and we had such a good time, as we always do when we're together. But it was really nice to be out on the riverfront and see the people walking out and about. But anyway, local yarn shop is the Fiber Universe, and I picked up a week or so ago the latest summer edition of Lina magazine. You know, there are a lot of patterns in here that for me are not really summer. There's a lot of thoughts for later, for fall, which really got me to thinking, is there's no reason why you cannot be knitting on fall sweaters right now, so that they're ready in time. If you only want to knit one summer sweater, you don't want to knit any summer sweaters, it's knitter's choice, right? So, but there are several in here that I have my eyeball on for fall. I like this magazine for I love it for the photographs. Let's just be real about that. I like it for the photographs. I think they do such a great job on it. I like the stories. I don't cook. The recipes are not me, so Yeah, I won't be doing any of those. I particularly like this, but has brioche on it, so I'd have to learn how to do brioche. But this is that a super, and just speaks to me of fall. But one that I'm really looking at is by Marianne Munier. And it is a cardigan. You can do it as a cardigan or you can do it as a pullover. So I'm thinking cardigan. This one's called Eula, I think. And so you can see that. And I might just have some yarn that I could use for that. Super, super cute picture of here. Let's see that. And so I think I would be wanting to do the cardigan version. The seriously, as in seriously, Holy Wrap by Stephen West is in here. Again, I would have to learn some brioche, wouldn't I? So maybe that's a skill I need to do later this fall. And then this trelissa. So as you can see, to me, they look very fallish. And I'm in the point now of wanting to just read. And I love this one. This is by Gundren Johnston, and I would definitely make it longer for me, but look at that. Very fallish colors, so there's so much to look and read in here, and I love this magazine. Generally, you know, I know it's not a cheap thing to get, but I know that it's one that I enjoy having. So anyway, that's the latest issue of Lina magazine, summer 2021. And I think maybe they're gearing us up for fall, like we should be. So anyway, those are the things that I have to share with you today. I wanted to get this in, and maybe I won't even post it until it's closer to the start of summer. But anyway, I wanted to get you kind of caught up on where I'm thinking about going next. Easily squirrel moments, isn't it? So I appreciate so much those of you who have subscribed and tune in and comment. And I love it when somebody says, when you're going to do another one. That just makes me feel like it's something I want to continue to do. And even if it's just for me or for those few who are following. So I have a blog, www.pjknits.blogspot.com. I am PJ Knits on Instagram. I am Penny J on Ravelry, and the group itself is PJ Knits. So that's what we've got going. So until next time, knit on with confidence and hope. See what's going on out in the world, guys, and then write your own story. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.